Hello everyone, welcome to Marlin Chess Kids. Today I'll show you the gameplay by Andrew and Sarin, and this beautiful game complete in only 20 moves. And the last move attack of using a queen sacrifice, and the complete game is win by the black. And let's see how the game play. The game starts with the pawn to d4 and d5. Then the white continue to play bishop to f4 and c5 was played. And you can see that an only second move, the black is trying to storm in the center of the square with the two pawn and try to gain control of the center. And with this, the white play an unusual line with playing a e4. So at this moment, it gives black the slightly better in the position, and the black capture the pawn, d takes e4. Then the pawn move forward to d5, and now the black is winning a pawn in the opening. And after this, knight f6, trying to capture the pawn at d5. Then the knight to c3, and this knight will protect the pawn and also attack the pawn at e4, and g6 was played. And now the position become equal after 5 moves. Then the white continue to play knight to b5, and here the black play knight to a6, then d6 was played, trying to push forward and attack the black. And after this, bishop to d7, trying to attack the knight. Another suggestion at this you can play is playing a queen to a5, and this queen check the king and also will able to attack the knight and capture it. And if the bishop to b2 was played, then the queen can just back to d8. So d6 was placed, and this idea will be trying to move the knight to king and win the fork. And after a series of action, this will allow the pawn to capture and will be stationed at c7. For example, if you make a move such as a bishop to g7, then the white can just go for a check, and after the knight capture, the pawn capture. And if you queen capture the queen, then the rook will capture, and this rook will be going to d8 and will be able to checkmate. So if you move any move such as a6, and this will be a wrong move, then the rook will go to d8, and here we have a simple checkmate, and the pawn is protecting the rook. So back to this position, d6 was played, and now the so after bishop to d7, then the pawn d takes e7, and this pawn is attacked the queen and the bishop. and this will give black a better position. After this, the bishop just capture the pawn. Bishop takes e7, and here you give a strong idea for the black to threaten with a short castle and bring up the rook to the center of the board. Then knight to d6, the king, and also you have the idea to capture the pawn at b7. And this still gives black the edge. And after this move, the bishop just capture, and at this position it will be better to use the queen to capture. As the queen capture, you will be able to control the square for the king to go for short castling, and with this the white is okay to play with the queen capture. So maybe the black can come to e7 to go for the exchange, and the white can just simply play a long castling, and the rook will protect the queen as well as the bishop, and this will maintain a equal position. The less strong will be if you capture the knight. After this, the queen can capture the queen, or the pawn can capture the bishop. After capture, then if you develop the knight, then the bishop will goes to b5 and pinning the knight. And now the king cannot go for castling, and you need to move away the knight. So back to this position in the actual game, bishop capture the bishop. Bishop takes d6, and after this, the black play queen b with the idea to attack the bishop and also able to attack the pawn at b2. And this also, the black can have the idea of bishop to g4 and attack the queen. And then the black also can go for a long castling to bring the rook to attack the d file. But after capture the knight, then the black continue to play queen takes a6. Another suggestion you can play for the black will be a long castling, and this will be better for the black. And if the white move away the bishop, such as move back to e2, then the bishop can go to f5 and keep on the attack. And after any move, such as move pawn to c3, then the rook can just capture back the bishop, and here the black is winning in the game, as here the queen has trouble to escape itself. And if your queen goes to b3 to go for the exchange, the queen just able to move to c8, and next we bring more the rook to the attack, and we'll be able to check the king, and we have a triple pieces to check. So this will give the black clearly on top of the game with this idea. So back to the position, after bishop capture, then the white just use the queen to capture it back, and now the and this is quite a mistake tactical blunder. The better move will be move the bishop takes the pawn, and after a long castling, then the queen can goes to d6 and force the black to action. And after the series of action, this will remain the black better by 1 pawn only, 1 point also as well. So queen d2 was played, and now the black just go for a long castling and preparing to attack the d file. And after this, the bishop run away and move to g3. And with this, now the white will be in trouble, and the black will able to win the game with a series of attacks. And back to this position, if you use the bishop capture the pawn, then the bishop will goes to h3, and this will allow a discover attack by the rook and win. So if you move the queen anyway, such as a queen to c3, then the bishop will just capture the pawn, and this will be winning the rook. And if the bishop goes to e7 to attack the rook, then you have the open check from the white. And after this, the king will goes to d7 and trying to attack the bishop. And if you capture with the bishop, then the queen will capture it back. So if the queen captures the rook, then you can just use the rook to capture it back. Or still, the better move would be queen to f1. And after this check, then this forces the king to move to king d2. And after king to d2, you can just use the queen to continue capture the d2 pawn and check the king. After knight develop and prevent the check, then you can just use pawn to check, pawn to e3 and check the king. And now the king, if you go up to d3, then you have the diagonal check with the queen. And if you capture the pawn, then you have the knight to d5, and you're able to fork the queen and the king. So another simple suggestion will be bring up the rook to the attack. So this, when you have more pieces to attack, you'll be faster in the checkmate. So if you bring the rook, continue to the center of the board to check the king. And after this, the king has a limitation to move. So if the king move back to d2, then now you have the knight to e4 and check and win the queen as well. So back to this position, queen d2 was played. Then played. The black play e3 and give you another pawn and go for sacrifice. And if you capture the pawn, then you have a rook to e8 and win the queen, as the queen can move and is being pinned by the rook. So after e3 was played, the white capture with the pawn f takes e3. And after capture, now the knight to e4 is trying to attack the queen. Then the queen to e2 was played, and after this, bishop to the action to bring up another piece to attack. bishop to b5 to attack, and this also open up the d file. Then queen run away to f3, and now f5 was played trying to protect the knight, and now queen to f4, and you go for a simple checkmate by playing queen to c7 and checkmate. So after this move, the rook to d6 to block the diagonal, and here the knight continues to develop to f3. Then the rook h to d8, and here you have the idea of queen sacrifice, queen takes the pawn, queen takes a2, and we're winning the game. After this 18 move, now the black make just one brilliant move by playing queen takes a2, and after this the black win the game. So in the actual game, c3 was played, and after this the black queen takes a2. So after queen takes the pawn, then the rook just capture it, and with this the black win with a rook checkmate, rook d1 checkmate, and the knight has control 2 of the square, and the bishop has control the other square at e2. So with this, the black cannot do anything, and the game is finished. Back to this position, if the queen capture the knight, such as queen check the knight, then you'll be mate in about 17 move or 16. So let's see the continuation. The queen will just continue to capture the a1 pawn and check the king. And now the king only have one place to move. It's very limited. So king to f2, then the rook to d2 and continue check. And now the sacrifice, the knight have to capture, and the rook capture and check again the king. Then here you can see the king only have one place to move, which is king to f3. And after this, the pawn will just capture the queen and check the king. And now if you want to capture, you'll be lose as well, or you just move up the king to f4. Then the queen will continue to play queen to a6 and able to continue to check the king. So basically, with an extra queen, you'll be easily to win the game. And if you let's continue, the queen to a6, then king to g5, then rook continue to check at d5, bishop blocks, then rook takes the bishop, then king to g4, then the bishop to d7 and continue to check. So you have a many idea to attack the king. After this, king to g3, then the rook to g5 continue to check. And now if you move the king to f4, then you have a queen to g6 check, and now king capture the pawn, then you have a queen to f5 check. So if you move the king back to f2, then you can just continue to sacrifice the rook. Rook takes the pawn, and after king capture, then the queen will just goes to e2, continue to check, and if the king goes to g1, then this king will be locked by itself, and now place can move. So a simple bishop to h3 will block the pawn at h2 come out, and any move from the white such as b3, and you have a very simple checkmate, which is queen takes e3, and we will have the modern checkmate. That's a very nice checkmate in this situation, and the king cannot move. And back to the position, if you use the rook to play, such as rook to c1, then the black can just continue to play rook to d1 sacrifice. After rook capture, then rook sacrifice again, and after king capture, then you have a queen to b1 checkmate. And we have a very nice idea to checkmate, and this will be the back rank checkmate. And back to this position, if you capture with the queen takes d6, and the queen will just capture the rook easily. And now again, the king cannot be moved. You cannot move any of this rank 2 square because the knight is attacked 2 of the square, which is a d2 and f2, and the bishop is controlling another square at e1. So it seems like this is a back rank checkmate, and if you defend with the queen, then you just can use the queen to capture, and it will be a checkmate. And with this, thank you.